All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the inaugural episode of Over the Shoulder. It's a special edition. We're doing it for Kwanzaa. So when I think about Kwanzaa, when I think about those principles, Kwanzaa is all about how to build a community. So when it comes to building a community, the first day you start off with is Umoja. Umoja stands for unity. You have no community without unity. So when I think about community, when I think about building that, stuff like that, I have to go back to the OG of the OGs with me building my community, my tribe, my people, and this man has been with me on the ground. He has suffered, and if you want to talk about a day one, you want to talk about somebody suffering with you, you want to talk about somebody laughing, crying, making jokes.
Hey, we've been through the ringer.
We done been through the ringer, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you know me and you don't know him, you really don't know me. That's how I feel at this point. So, he needs no introduction, but to give him one, Stanley Williams.
How y'all doing?
What's up, brother, man? What's up, brother? How are you doing, man?
Hey, man, I can't complain. Life is good.
Life is good, man. Life is good. So when you hear the word unity, just what comes to mind? Just free fall it.
I ain't gonna lie to you. When you first brought this up to me and I was like, unity, nothing came to mind, bro. And I've worked with several people. I've worked in several organizations, but I don't know, man. It didn't click. So I started kind of working backwards. I was like, if I'm thinking about unity, most people, the first thing that comes to mind is like a common purpose or a common cause. And that's all well and good. And I feel like it gets you from point A to point B. But you know me, I gotta unpack, I gotta dig, I gotta keep going deeper. Mm-hmm. So I was like, if a common cause is the only thing that's really uniting you, are you really united? Mm-hmm. Because as soon as the cause is gone, everything else falls apart.
Fair, yeah, that makes sense.
But when I start unpacking that and I go deeper, I start looking at relationships and ties that go beyond purpose and cause. Mm-hmm. Like you're united with your family sometimes. Let's say sometimes.
I got you. I got you.
But some of the things that unite like family or friendships, mm-hmm. or friendships for that matter, is like principles that underpin that unity. It's like, what do we have in common that we believe in beyond a cause or beyond ourselves? And that thing that we see in each other, that principle that kind of aligns, like there are principles that you have that align with principles that I have. And those principles are kind of like the underpinning foundation of that unity. You kind of know, you get what I mean? Yeah. Like that's what it kind of hit me. I was like, okay, like so many people are united in love. Or they're united in loyalty, mm-hmm. or they're united in purpose. Mm-hmm. Like we talk up. So let's go back to the cause and the purpose. It's like Mountaintop Studios, Be Real Entertainment. Mm-hmm. Everybody who works under you, works with you, works alongside you, they all see the vision. And you all are united in that vision. Mm-hmm. Or they all see the cause. They all see the future. They all see the trajectory. And those things help unite us to something bigger than ourselves. So I guess that's kind of like my initial take on it. But again, the principles.
I love it, man. I love it. See, when I tell people, when I think about unity and stuff like that, because I think we think of Queen Latifah, UNITY. We think about it as very like happy, like everyone coming together. We are the world. All of that kind of stuff. And while that is a portion of it, I feel like we do a disservice by not acknowledging the other portion of it. And it's like, in order to unify, in order to actually truly be unified, you gotta face your bullshit, toss your bullshit to the side, and like let go of egos, because you have to realize sometimes someone needs to be the leader and someone needs to be the follower.
Facts.
And it doesn't oftentimes feel good when it's your time to be the follower.
Be the follower, yeah.
But then at the end of the day, it also sometimes when the leader messes up and you're the leader and it was your mess up, that doesn't necessarily feel good either.
True. So
it's like, I tell people that like you're playing a different role and stuff like that, and every role is vital. Or else it wouldn't be a role. If it's it's like a company. If the role's not vital, you're getting fired. This is what it is. Like, so unity is hard because you have to let go of that ego. Because everyone, especially like in the Black community, I feel like that's.
Bruh, I was literally there. I was like 400 years, and we still ain't on the same page.
Yeah, because we all want to be the person. We all want to be the leader. We all want to, we all want to be LeBron James, but like LeBron James in his 20th year and AD is killing it. You got to kick the ball to AD, and you got to let him be the leader and stuff like that. And to me, LeBron's doing that. Like that's to me, that's true leadership. Because it's like you realize that, it's sometimes I got to make the big shot. Sometimes somebody else got to make the big shot, and
That's effective leadership.
it's effective leadership. So, like I said, that's the hard part of unity. That's the part that they don't advertise. They don't just tell us about that.
And you're right. I think that requires a sense of humility, removing your ego from the equation. Because like you said, LeBron James is a perfect example of that. Sometimes he has to take the ball to the sometimes you have to take the ball to the hoop. That's just King James at his finest. But there are times where he's he might not be having the game he should be having. And if he's not having that game, he got to look to the other players on the team who have to be at that common cause, common purpose, trying to win the game. Yeah. Oh yeah, I feel where you're coming from, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So, and then another thing I like to acknowledge about Kwanzaa and all these, 7 principles and stuff like that, is that it works on different levels. Okay. So I tell people okay, Kwanzaa is about how to build a community. But the first community that you ever build is a community within self.
So, okay. All right. Hold on. All right. Hold on. Let that breathe for a second. Let that breathe. They need to sit with that one for a second.
I appreciate you, Stanley. Yes. So the first community you ever have to build is within self. You got to know self. You got to know what you're saying and what you're doing have to align. There's a lot of different things that you got to face your bullshit. That's the thing, you gotta face it, because we all got it. If anybody doesn't think they got it, then
you really not self-reflective.
Yeah, you really got some big bullshit, because now you can't even realize you need to, because we all, like I said, there's no perfect being here. So you have to face all of that stuff. So you have to be unified within self when you're thinking about unity. That's a big thing. Then once you're unified within self, then you can worry about being unified within your friendships, your romantic relationships, your family, all that kind of stuff. It goes hand in hand at that point. If you're over here battling all these demons and you're don't know if you need to go to your left or you go to your right, your kids are gonna feel that. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna be the byproduct, and that's why we're a generation that has to break generational curses. That's what ends up happening. So when you look at unity, how are you unified within yourself?
Okay, so I'm first of all, I'm glad this is my principle, because there are times where I'm not unified with myself. There are times that the things I say and the things I do don't necessarily always line up. But trying to develop that congruency, specifically in the last few months, has been more so about no more talking. No more talking. Do. Show me the fruit. Show me what you reap. And that's been my major focus, trying to unify myself in that regard. But so you know me, a lot of the things that I've been working on specifically have been in the area of writing. And we talked for years about the things I wanted to write, the things I wanted to do, but never really put the pen to paper. And then recently I was like, yo, time, you ain't got forever.
You don't.
You do. And I think that's something we all kind of take for granted. So for anybody that is listening, this is me speaking directly to you. I'm not sure who it goes to. Maybe it's just for me and somebody else will catch a little bit of it. But
you can say it to the camera. You say it to them. Say it to the audience right there.
You don't have forever. You may be young. You may be sprightly. You may be in the prime of your life right now. But at some point, that's going to fade. At some point, the time is going to slowly trickle by and you're going to start to feel it. I'm in my 30s now. And it's I wake up and bones I didn't know I had start cracking. But that's a testament to, 1, a life well lived, and 2, just getting older and realizing your effort, your unity, your congruency has to be focused more now. It's you don't get the opportunity to be on 10 all day. You don't have that energy level anymore. I don't have that energy level anymore. So the energy that I do have, I have to focus it. I have to harness it properly. And that comes with a certain level of congruency. My mind, my body, my spirit, my soul have to be on the same page. And if they're not, one's pulling me in another direction, we got to get that in line so that we can continue to do the good work we're supposed to be doing. Oh yeah.
That's real, man. That's a real ass answer right there. So, okay. So a big thing that I've been pushing is that, okay, I feel like our generation.
Come on.
I feel like our generation.
Come on.
Like the mantle that we've taken up is we about to break generational curses. I don't care who my friend is. I don't care. Fill in the blank. Everyone's like, I'm about to break this generational curse. I'm about to do this and that. Like, I feel like that's social media. Like every single time I see like a black millennial, it's like, we breaking generational curses. And to me, when I hear that, I hear, okay, generational curses. So when you curse ain't no just like, oh, this is a day thing. This is like, you curse. This is your life. And now I'm hearing you apply the word generational, which means it wasn't just your life. It was your parents' life. It was your grandparents' life. It was your great-grand. It's like this has been passed down for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it hasn't been able to be broken. And our generation has said, we're going to be the ones to break it. So when you think about that and you hear that, how do we, in a unified fashion, break the generational curses that have been plaguing us for hundreds of years? I know. I just hit you with it.
Yeah, that's a tough one, E. You asking me to figure out the problems with the diaspora in a 20-minute conversation.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. If anyone can do it, it's you.
Oh, good Lord. I think it goes back to what we were originally talking about. Firstly, the humility that comes with removing your ego out the way, because I feel like pride is the number one generational curse for our generation. Like that comes before several generations before us. Like sometimes, going back to our previous conversation, you want to be the leader when in actuality you need to step outside yourself. Or sometimes in family or familiar relationships, you have so much going on and you just don't know how to like deal with it. You're like, I don't have to associate with these people. That's pride. That's ego. That's you getting in the way of yourself and becoming the very thing you're trying to stop. So when I think about generational curses that we're trying to solve, the first thing I think about is pride. Like just removing that from the equation and stepping out your own way. The second thing I think about is like, self-reflection. Self-reflection. Like, if you can't take the time to assess what's going on inside of you and how it connects with the generations before you in a similar fashion, you're never going to be able to break a generational curse. Because if they could break it and they haven't, it's probably because they didn't reflect on it enough to get out of their own way, remove the pride, and self-reflect. Those two things I feel like go in tandem with breaking generational curses. And I think the third thing is like aspiring to something higher. Like, there are low energies, there are high energies. If you're dealing in low energies and you're trying to break generational curses, good luck. Good luck. Low energies are where addictions lie. Lower energies are where recurring cycles lie. Higher aspirations lead to higher thought processes. Higher thought processes lead to higher goals, higher achievements, higher purpose. And I think in moving toward higher purpose and higher goals, you automatically start to eliminate lower energy bullshit. And I actually got to give you credit for that, bro. Like, just something that you did that really blew my mind is like a generational curse that you told me you were working on specifically is like some of the familial things you had going on where you were trying to escape the lower energies you were dealing with at the time. And I'm not going to get too specific because that's your business. But in starting Be Real, in starting Mountaintop Studios, in seeing something greater for yourself that other people around you couldn't even see at the time. That requires a certain level of humility and removing your pride and your ego from the equation. It requires a self-reflection. It requires courage. And I think I skipped over that one, but it requires a certain amount of courage to really just be like, all right, I'm going to face this. Come hell or high water, I'm going to face it. I'm going to do what nobody else before me thought possible to do. I'm gonna do it. And all the ramifications, because it's gonna be backlash, all the problems, all the setbacks, all the long days and long nights. And then you wake up one day and you're realizing, I'm doing it. I'm doing the hard work. I'm doing the stuff nobody else before me thought possible. And then you wake up another day and you realize there's a community being built around you. So yeah, I gotta give you credit for that one, bro. But I guess if I were to put it in a nutshell, and I'm gonna have to put the third one first, like courage, humility, self-reflection, and aiming for something higher. I feel like those 4 things put together are hard to like bring you down to a place where a generational curse can even touch you.
See? And you say you couldn't figure out the problem in a 20-minute conversation.
You got to give me some time. You got to give me a little time.
Yes. So, I mean, first of all, I appreciate you saying that. So, again, reason that, like, I knew, like, again, we have 7 different days for Kwanzaa. Unity, I was very strategic in who I chose for each of the days. You know, like, when I think about unity, I think about, you know, me and you. I feel like one of the great things with our friendship is that, like, we always know what role to play. It's just like there are things like I need this, and I look over and Stanley's already doing this, or it's just like we know it's like sometimes someone needs to drive the bus, sometimes it's time to be a passenger on the bus, and we just do it, we just make it happen. It's like we don't even need to say thank you because the thank you's just coming in the service. It's just implied. It's just implied. You know, it's really been a unified brotherhood. It's just a lot you know, it's easy to, it just works. It's easy. It's not hard. It's like,
it's almost effortless.
It's almost effortless. It's just like, you know, I've had people like, why would you have to stand? It's like I don't have an answer. It's second nature. It's just what we do. It's what we do. So it's just like, for me, it's like I feel like we have a very unified friendship. It's like, you know, and then that's all the good grand stuff. Like, even you've called me on my bullshit.
Same.
You called me, yeah.
Same.
You called me, and it's like, and you weren't. It's just like, we need to talk. Like, and that was the, you know, okay, cool. When Stanley said we need to talk, I sit on the couch. I sit on the couch and I shut up.
Hey, listen, it's the same over here, bro. I'll be like, wait a minute, yeah, he telling me. Yeah.
So that's like I think that's the hard part of unity, because that's the part where, like, you know, people want to hear about how great they are.
Oh yeah, but don't nobody want to hear about what they doing wrong.
Nobody want to hear about
what they
that.
need to take up a notch.
And so I always appreciate that you hold me to that level of accountability. You know, like, as
you doing you a disservice if I didn't, bro.
And you say that, but so many people don't think like that. So many people are just so quick to say, yes, it's great, and this and that. And you'll be good. You're like, it's good, but is it great? I mean, I feel like that might become your catchphrase at this point. And it's like, you know, it always does. Like, so one time, like, we did something, like, I don't know, maybe it was last year or a year beforehand, and it was just like, we went back and we watched all of our old projects. So it was like, it was These Hands, it was Entanglement, it was Black Lives Mattering, it was On Bended Knee, all of those films and stuff like that. And it was just like, that was your idea to, like, go back and just watch them and just, like, critique them and, like, what we could and could not have done better and stuff like that. I still do that. Like, I still, just from time to time, like, you know, every few months, I'll just go sit back and watch all of this stuff. Like, even when we just did For the Last Time in October and stuff like that, like, in early November, I went back and watched all the other ones, and then I compared For the Last Time and stuff like that, and it gave me, first of all, appreciation on the process, seeing, like, where I was, and where we were, and where we've grown and stuff like that, and then just, like, looking at, like, the potential of what's next. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, you know, mistakes were made in For the Last Time, but, like, not mistakes that were made previously. Exactly. Yeah. And then it's like, because they're bigger, it's a bigger scale, and it's like, and not mistakes that are, like, they can't be rectified. You know, they can't, like, it's like, okay, cool, this and that, and, like, just seeing that. So, like, that's a process, that's something that you implemented in my life. Hey. And I think, I'm glad you use it, but I think that's the bigger principle of unity. When you unify with the person, you also learn from that person. Same. So it's like you was schooling me in the car on the way over here. Like, and I'm sitting back thinking about it, I'm like, yo, he's right. Sometimes the attempt at greatness can get in the way. Like, yes, aim for greatness, but at the same time, don't let it slow you down to the point where you're micromanaging your own work, going back, rewrite. Like, do the work. But at the same time, you know, when it's time to let it go, let it fly, do it. I mean, I tell people at this point in my life, I don't aim for anything. I just be. I just make it happen, because at the end of law of attraction? Yeah, it's just, I mean, because it's like I have so many ideas, so many scripts, and it's just like, hey, if people are ready to, if they read it and if they're not adding to what the character I put out and stuff like this, and they think it's good enough and stuff, like I got, you know, listen, I mean, I have a few baby ideas that, like, they gonna be as close to perfect as they can be, but it's like some of the stuff, like, you know, just a 5-page script, like, it's supposed to push you to the next level. Let me put it out there and let me see how, like, I never thought people's response For the Last Time. I woke up in the middle of the night and it was just like, I just wrote something. That song was hidden. Yeah. I can't even sit here and BS you. It was hidden. But to me, it's like, if I had to be so in my head with that, I would have never have just like done it. And I wouldn't have gotten that response and stuff like that. So it's just like, sometimes, hey, listen, it's just like, you just gotta do. I mean, you gotta create.
Feels cool to me, y'all.
Yeah, it's just for everyone. It's like you said, I'm learning this lesson every single day. I be so in my head with some of my ideas. I have to get out. You know, I plan, but it's like to a certain point, hey, listen, we just gonna shoot something today. We just gonna make something happen.
Don't ever believe your words fall on deaf ears, because I'm always here. I'm always listening, bro.
I know, because we're unified, man. It's unity, man. It's unity of brotherhood. So I appreciate you for coming out. Like this is the first episode of.
When you said inaugural, I was like, wait a minute.
It's the first one, but the audience, you're gonna be seeing this man all because he's damn near, he's in every project in some capacity. He's always gonna be in the credits if he's not starring in it or he's not the model in the hit, like every single time, because it's a pleasure to work with him. It's always good work. It's like and it's fun. Like that's the thing. I think that's the thing that I love about working with you. It's just fun. It's just fun. Like I said, like I know you're gonna bring a good time no matter what kind of day I had. I know that it's gonna be an amplified day just because I have Stanley. We crossing paths this day.
Same. Like when we get together, it's just a good time.
It's just a good time. We don't have to be doing nothing. We don't have to. Literally, it could be a conversation. We could turn these cameras off,
and we still be chatting for another 3 or 4 hours. Probably will.
Exactly. So I appreciate you, brother, from coming on and just dropping the knowledge and everything. What I tell everyone on Over the Shoulder is that's a wrap.